profit by Knight. Frank H. Knight, he says that profit is a reward of uncertainty bearing, not the risk bearing. What Knight says that there is a clear distinction between risk and uncertainty. Risk and uncertainty are not the same. He says there is difference. The risk can be classified as calculable as well as non-calculable risk. The calculable risk is that risk where the probability of occurrence can be anticipated through a statistical data. We can anticipate those type of risk. We can predict, like for example, fire, theft, accident are calculable risk. These risks can be insured in exchange of premium. This can be covered. Such amount of premium can be added to the total cost of production, and the premium which we are paying for covering such risk can be added into the production. These are all calculable risk. However, there can be non-calculable risk also, where the probability of occurrence cannot be determined. We cannot predict, we cannot calculate the probability of occurrence of such non-calculable risk. The example can be strategies of competitors that cannot be accurately assessed. Also, what will be the cost of eliminating the competition cannot be calculated, and therefore all these type of risk are non-calculable and non-insurable, and therefore this incalculable area of risk is the uncertainty. And Knight says that this uncertainty is important, where the entrepreneur bears this type of uncertainty, they get profit. So he says that profit arises out of decisions made under the conditions of uncertainty. The entrepreneur gets profit where he makes some decisions under the conditions of uncertainty only. Profit will be the reward of making all such decisions under the conditions of uncertainty. Is this clear till now?
Yes,
These three theories we have discussed in earlier lectures. Today we'll discuss about next theory by Harvey Levinstein. So his theory is called as X efficiency theory. This Harvey Levinstein was American microeconomist, industrial organization theorist, and developmental economist at Harvard University. He postulated this theory of X efficiency. Before we go to that theory, we'll discuss what is efficiency. So efficiency, by definition, it signifies peak level of performance that uses the least amount of input to achieve highest amount of input. Wherein we achieve highest amount of output in a less amount of input, we get efficiency. So we can say it is efficient. So efficiency requires reducing the number of unnecessary resources used to produce given output. So to become efficient, it is required that we eliminate unnecessary or waste resources or procedures to be used to produce a given output. So when we do that, the process or that particular activity becomes efficient. So then X efficiency, what Levinstein wants to say about X efficiency is that X efficiency is the degree of efficiency maintained by firms under the conditions of imperfect competition. You are all aware about perfect competition and imperfect competition, isn't it? What is a perfect competition? In economics, you might have learned perfect competition, imperfect competition. Omkar, Pallavi, Vishal, Tejas. Saurabh, So in perfect competition, you might have learned in economics. Perfect competition means many number of sellers, many number of buyers, wherein the sellers cannot increase the price uh, after some limit. They have to keep the price competitive, so at par with the competitors. No one can go above the market price. No one can go below market price. That is perfect competition. And imperfect competition is opposite to that, wherein there are less number of sellers and many number of buyers. So X efficiency refers to the degree of efficiency which is maintained by firms under the conditions of imperfect competition. When firm tries to try to maintain the efficiency under the condition of imperfect competition, that is called as X efficiency as per Levenshtein. Are you getting this? Pallavi, Omkar, Samir, Saurabh, Suraj, Nikita, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so X efficiency here, Levenshtein wants to say that it is the degree of efficiency which is maintained by firms under the conditions of imperfect competition. And there is another term which he has explained is X inefficiency. X inefficiency is the difference between the efficient behavior of the firms assumed or implied by economic theory and their observed behavior in practice. So if the assumed behavior of firms and observed behavior of firms, if there is a difference, we can say that they are inefficient. If the inputs are less, more, and the output is less, we can say that it is inefficient. Why this type of inefficiency occurs is because of technical efficiencies, or this technical efficiency is not being achieved due to lack of competitive pressure. Due to lack of competitive pressure in imperfect competition, where there is a lack of competitive pressure, technical efficiency is not being achieved, and this inability is because of the lack of competition in the market or lack of desire to compete aggressively. Levenshtein says that if the market is imperfect, in imperfect market, the competition is because of lack of competitive pressure, this inefficiency can occur. The technical efficiency may not be achieved due to lack of competitive pressure or lack of desire to compete aggressively. In perfect competition, you will see that the sellers or the firms will compete to get profit because there are high pressures of competition. They cannot raise the price. However, in imperfect competition, you will see that there are lack of competitive pressure, and therefore the sellers or the firms will also see that they will not have desire to compete aggressively in the market to achieve the profit, and therefore this lack of competitive pressure as well as desire to compete aggressively may be the cause of inefficiency as per Levenshtein. Are you getting this concept of X efficiency and X inefficiency? Are you getting this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So then we'll again go back to neoclassical theory of economics to understand this better. So what neoclassical theory of economics says that under perfect competition, individuals and firms must maximize efficiency in order to succeed and make a profit. Those who do not compete, or those who do not try to maximize efficiency, they will be forced to exit and they will fail. So under perfect competition, individuals and firms will have to maximize efficiency because they cannot raise the price above a certain level. They have to maximize their efficiency, reduce the cost so that they can make a profit. And those who do not do this, those who do not try to maximize the efficiency, they will ultimately fail and will be forced to exit the market. So this happens in perfect competition. However, X efficiency theory says that under conditions of less than perfect competition, so means imperfect competition, the inefficiency will persist. There will be inefficiency because of two reasons, as we discussed earlier, because of lack of competitive pressure and maybe because of lack of desire to compete aggressively. Because of these two reasons, in imperfect competition, there may be inefficiency may persist. So, X efficiency theory of Levenshtein, what it does that it measures effectiveness of firm to produce an output with a given set of inputs. So this X efficiency helps to measure effectiveness of firm to produce an output with a given set of output. X efficiency is a measure of determining the effectiveness of a firm, how effective the firm is to produce an output with a given set of output. So entrepreneurs can measure the degree of technical efficiency of their firms, which can be maintained under imperfect competition. So with this concept of X efficiency, entrepreneur can measure the degree of their technical efficiency, which can be maintained under imperfect competition. Levenshtein has given two types of entrepreneurship. He says that there can be two forms of entrepreneurship. One is routine entrepreneurship, which deals with normal business functions like coordinating the business activities. There may be a routine entrepreneur who will deal with only normal business functions like coordinating the business activities. Or there can be innovative entrepreneurship. So innovative entrepreneurship is there wherein the entrepreneur is innovative in his approach. So entrepreneur is not doing only routine activities, but he is innovating. He is innovating the products, services, and the different methodologies of carrying out the business. It includes all the activities necessary to create an enterprise where not all markets are well established or clearly defined. So all those activities which are necessary to establish the firm under the markets which are not well established are not clearly defined. Further, this Levenshtein says that the entrepreneur has two main roles to perform. These two roles are, first role is input completion and second role is gap filling. So in input completion role, what is expected is it involves making the available inputs which improve efficiency of existing production methods or facilitates the introduction of new ones. So in this input completion role of entrepreneur will involve making the available inputs, making the all inputs available, which improve the efficiency of existing production method, or facilitate the introduction of new inputs which can improve the efficiency. So the role of entrepreneur in this is to improve the flow of information in all the markets. And second role of these entrepreneurs is if there are any imperfections in the market, entrepreneur has to fill the gaps in the market. So whatever in the imperfect market, if there are gaps, the entrepreneur has to fill the gaps. To put the enterprise in motion, entrepreneur should fill enough of gaps. So whatever gaps are there in imperfect market, entrepreneurs should try to fill up as many as gaps so as to become efficient. Are you clear with this theory of entrepreneurship by Levenstein? Is the theory understood, or you want me to repeat it once again?
Sir, repeat please.
Okay. So theory of Levenstein says that there can be firms which can be efficient, there can be firms which can be inefficient. First of all, we'll have to understand what is the concept of X efficiency and X inefficiency to understand this theory. According to Levenstein, X efficiency, that means the degree of efficiency maintained by firms under the conditions of imperfect competition. In imperfect competition, the degree of efficiency which is maintained by the firms is called as X efficiency. And inefficiency means if these firms are not able to maintain the efficiency under the imperfect competition, that is called as X inefficiency. This inefficiency can be because of lack of competitive pressure or lack of desire to compete aggressively in the market. Once this concept of X efficiency and inefficiency is understood, then Levenstein further says that this efficiency measures, X efficiency or X inefficiency, that measures effectiveness of firm to produce output with a given set of input. Whatever set of inputs or resources are available with the entrepreneur, this X efficiency measures effectiveness of the firm to produce output with a given set of inputs. Entrepreneur with this X efficiency can measure the degree of technical efficiency of the firm which can be maintained under imperfect competition. So entrepreneur can measure the degree of technical efficiency, how much technically efficient they are to produce maximum output with a given set of input, that they can measure under the conditions of imperfect competition. Then further, this Levenstein says that there can be two types of entrepreneurship, two forms of entrepreneurship. One is routine entrepreneur, another is innovative entrepreneur. Routine entrepreneur is the one who deals with only normal business functions like coordinating the business activities. And innovative entrepreneurs are those who will bring in somewhat innovation in their approach, in their methodologies, in products or services. This innovation also includes activities which are necessary to create enterprise where not all markets are well established or clearly defined. So whatever activities are needed to create enterprise or to make the enterprise efficient where the market is imperfect or not clearly defined. And then he says that there can be two roles of entrepreneurs to make the firms efficient. First is input completion. Input completion means making the inputs complete. First of all, he needs to involve in making all the inputs available which can improve the efficiency of existing production methods or facilitates the introduction of new input methods or new inputs. Also, the role of entrepreneur is to improve the flow of information in these markets. The flow of information in this market can make the inputs available, which can then further will help to improve the efficiency of the firms. Second role is gap filling. So whatever gaps are there, whatever imperfections are there in the market, that the entrepreneur should try to fill up so that he can put the enterprise in motion. He can make the enterprise efficient. Is it now understood? Is the theory of entrepreneurship by Levenstein understood to you all? Pallavi, Nikita?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Second is input completer role. Gap filler role means he needs to fill in the gaps in the imperfect market so as to put the enterprise in motion. And second role is input completer. That means transforming available inputs that improve the efficiency of the existing production methods. So he has to make the inputs available so as to improve efficiency of existing production methods. Then we'll move to another theory of social change by Everett Hagen. So Everett E. Hagen in this theory of social change state that how traditional society transforms into technically advanced society. So how society gets transformed into a technically advanced society, that he has described in his theory of social change. How society changes. This theory of social change states that entrepreneur creativity as the key of element of social transformation and economic growth. So Everett Hagen also says that the entrepreneurial creativity is the important element of social transformation as well as economic growth. Also, this theory says that there is an interrelationship. So interrelationship among physical environment, social structure, personality and culture in the transformation of society. When there is a transformation of society, these elements are interrelated. There is interrelationship between physical environment, social structure, personality and culture. And he says that economic growth is a product of social change and political change. So economic growth can be observed. It is a product or it is output of social change. So if we want to have economic growth, there need to be a social change and political change. He did not accept, he rejected the idea that the solution to economic growth lies in imitating Western technology. He was in oppose of imitating the Western technology. He says that economic development cannot be achieved by imitating Western technology. The economic development can be achieved through social change and political change, which is an interrelationship between personality and culture that helps in transformation of society. One important theory of entrepreneurial behavior which Hagen has propounded or postulated is regarded as withdrawal of status respect. He also has given a theory which is based on the basis of withdrawal of status respect. So in this theory of withdrawal of status respect, that means status is removed. There may be some people whose status is being lost. So Hagen has attributed this withdrawal of status respect of a group to genesis of entrepreneurship. So there may be an individual or group of people whose status is being lost because of some or other reason. That is the reason or genesis of entrepreneurship. And that is why people become entrepreneurs. So Hagen considers this withdrawal of status of respect as a trigger mechanism for changes in the personality formation. So Hagen says that this withdrawal of respect is a trigger or it is a stimulus for changing the personality of a person. and that can trigger or that can motivate the person to become an entrepreneur. This theory of social change by Evert Hagen postulate or assume that withdrawal of status respect would give to 4 possible reactions and create 4 different personality types. This withdrawal of status respect can be because of different reasons. So he has given certain assumptions because of which there may be a radical loss of status by an individual or a group of people. So there may be few assumptions by Evert Hagen for the loss of status. The first is group may be displaced by force. There may be some group of people which is displaced from one place because of force. It may have its valued symbols denigrated. The major principles or values of that particular group might have been seriously criticized, that means denigrated. That may be the reason. There may be sudden drift into situation of status inconsistency. So there may be a situation of status inconsistency. Status inconsistency means where the person may have status, but he may not have that type of income wherein he can maintain that status. So that is called as status inconsistency. Inconsistency in status. So there may be a situation where there may be a status inconsistency, and it may not be accepted the expected status on migration in new society. So when a group migrates from one place to another place, it may not accept the expected status. It may not get that particular status in the new society. That may be the reason. So these few reasons, these few assumptions Evert Hagen has put forward for loss of status by an individual or by a group of people. Based on that, Hagen further has given that withdrawal of status respect would give 4 possible reactions and 4 different types of personality types. So because of withdrawal of status, loss of status, there may be 4 types of different personality types which can be developed. First type of personality which can be developed is retreatist. So retreatist is entrepreneur who combines to work in society, which continues to work in a society but remains indifferent to his work or status. Remains indifferent means neutral. Retreatist is entrepreneur which continues to work in society. He will continue to work in the society. However, he will remain neutral about his status. He will not think about his status, or he will not bother about the status. There will be another type of personality which will be developed is ritualist. The personality wherein the person who works as per the norms in the society but with no hope of improvement in the working conditions or his status. So ritualist is the person who will work as per the norms of the society. However, he will not have any expectations of improvement in his status. Then there can be third personality which can be called as reformist. Reformist is the person or rebellion who wants to change that particular situation and tries to bring new ways of working in the and in the new society. Reformist means who wants to make changes, who is the rebellion, who fights against that change, is the one who tries to bring in new ways of working and new society. And then there can be another personality type which is called as innovator. Innovator is the kind of entrepreneur who is creative and try to achieve his goals set by himself. So there can be another personality which can be developed, that is innovator, who will try to do something new. He will be creative and try to achieve his set goals. So this is the theory of Everett Hagen, which is called as a of social change. We'll just summarize these two theories which we have discussed today. We have discussed X efficiency theory of Levenshtein. Levenshtein has given the concept of X efficiency and X inefficiency. According to him, in imperfect competition, the firms try to